Okay, everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we'll be designing the Facebook login page. So let me share my screen and then get started, right? Okay, first let me open. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see your screen.
And just see the background, your background.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right. So today this is what we're going to do. First, I'll walk us through how to create a GitHub repo. Remember we spoke about this. Then we'll now, from after creating a repo, we'll now design the Facebook login page. After designing the Facebook login page, we are going to push this code to GitHub. We'll push our code to GitHub, and then we'll close with an assignment. I hope this is cool, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. All right, let's begin. As usual, I'm not going to make use of my GUI to create any folder here, right? I'm going to make use of my Git bash. Remember, I said we'll keep making use of Git bash until we get so conversant using it. Very convenient using it, rather. Okay, now first thing I have to check where I am currently. So which command am I using?
LS.
LS will list the files in where you are.
PWD.
PWD, yes. PWD will show your current working directory.
PWD. All right.
So this is where I am currently, right? So now, yes, with LS, I'm able to view all the files of where I am currently. I can see that there's a desktop where I am. So I can navigate there using my CD desktop. CD, okay, and then I'll type desktop. If I do PWD again, showing me that, okay, you are currently on your desktop. Now from here, now I want to create a folder. So what is the command for creating a folder?
MKDR.
MKDR. Yeah.
Which stands for make directory. So we're calling, we'll call this IT skills center.
Facebook
right.
page.
Okay, wait. All right, don't worry. That's a nice, good one, right? So now we have created IT skills center. It's here. Let's navigate inside and create. We'll now navigate inside IT skills center. We'll now MKDR Facebook login. Now if we do LS, that's the only thing in our IT skills center folder, right? We'll now navigate inside the folder using CD Facebook login. Yeah, so if we do PWD, it means currently we are inside the folder Facebook page login we just created. So if you notice my screen is full, how can I clear it? What's the command?
Clear. CLS, clear.
Remember, CLS is for Windows command prompt, right? Git bash, which you use Linux command, will write clear. So now my screen is clear, right? All right. So the next thing now is to open this folder we are in currently, PWD. This is a folder. We want to open this folder using our VS Code. Exactly. Code space dot.
Code dot.
Now you see my VS Code is bouncing down here. It has been launched, right? All right. So let's navigate to my VS Code. Oh, he's asking me, do you trust the author of the files in this folder? Yes, I trust the author. I'm actually the owner. Why wouldn't I trust? He's asking me if I trust myself. Can you imagine? So now we'll close this guy. We'll close the welcome page note. So now this is the folder we created, right? Remember, if you hover over this Facebook login, you see new file, new folder, new file, new folder. All right, so we want a new file. So click on the new file, and what I'm going to name it, let's call it index.html. Good. So Today's class, I'll try as much as possible to make use of all the different ways of using CSS we discussed in our previous class. We use it inline, internal, and external. Yes, this is a very simple project. We can easily do it internal, right? Without going through that route, and we can easily just add an external CSS and keep our life going. But the reason why I want to make use of external, internal, and inline is because so we get acquainted to how all this thing works. Although that may not be the professional way of going about this, because it's just a single file. Why should I be writing both external, internal, and inline? But I'll be using that just so that we get acquainted to using those three different methods of CSS, right? So now we come here to generate our templates. Remember, I've shown us this shortcut. I've generated that guy. And in our title section, we can easily call this guy Facebook and save it. Okay, we need a CSS file. We'll come to a new file here, right? Let's call it styles.css. All right, we have our style.css. Next thing is to link it, right? So we'll come back here and link it within the head section. Remember, it's within the head section. So, okay, after the title, we could now do our link. You could easily select this guy. Sorry. It's because I used capital letter. That was why I got that link. This is it, right? So a situation where this guy doesn't work well for you, it doesn't pick the right file. Let's say after, okay, let me just do this manually. So we know how to do this thing very well. Oops, sorry. So we could easily link. And inside the link, we have the ref tag. And what we are trying to add up is the style sheet. And then there's a href. This href helps us to point to the direction or point to where the file is. You could just put a dot /. Now this is the file. I'll just easily select it, right? To be sure that my CSS file is picked. Let's load this guy using our live server, right? That's right click, scroll down, open with live server. Let's see. Yeah, it has kicked off already. Now let's split our screen so that we'll be seeing what we're doing. Okay. Now in our CSS file, there's something on your VS Code you may also always want to make use of. See, if anytime I want to collapse this panel here, I don't want to see this panel. Like, I just want to collapse it so that I'll have more space. You can just click on this guy here. You see the panel has collapsed. You need back, click, it comes back. So you can toggle, click, it comes and opens, right? Now I want to open this thing side by side. See this, can you see this divider that's here, right? If I split editor, right? So if I click on it, now you see my CSS file is here, HTML is here. So with this, I can keep my two screens side by side and be working. Right? Okay. So let me target this body to see if my CSS file was picked. So this is body. Now I use body as an element selector, right? Because body is an element. Yeah. You have a question? Can we go on? Okay, body is an element selector. Remember we talked about the different types of selector. Body is an element selector. So okay, let me check if my CSS is working. Let me give it a background color red. It's an obvious one. So I'll see. Perfect. It picked. It changed the color.
Yes, yes. I want to say something.
Okay. All right. Go on. I'm listening. Okay.
So I want to just quickly ask. I think on this HTML, CSS, if we want to, as in the screen size for the our screen size, like some courses or some lecturers, they will tell you like, okay, that you can still specify the screen size of your HTML by capturing the HTML itself. Maybe giving it a select it and giving it 0%, border width, stuff like that. So I don't know if if
Okay.
it is necessary.
Instead of going through, yeah, you can always do that, right? Don't worry, we'll still look at that. Don't worry. So now, but basically, we have checked and we've discovered that our CSS is picked, right? So let's come here and write maybe the H1 tag, and this is hello world. Sorry, hello world. Now, hello world. Now, this is what you're trying to talk about. If you look at hello world, there's a space on top of hello world, and then there's a space here. Do you notice this? There's a space on top.
Yes.
So, okay, from what you're saying, we could do something like this. Let's try this guy and see. We could do something like this. And then imagine, can you see that space is gone?
Yes.
So what we did was we just, this is a universal selector, which we talked about this universal selector. Now, without this line, you notice that there's a space. Remember, I just commented my code. So if I remove this comment, you see that that space is gone. That's what these paddings 0, margin 0 is just doing. Anytime you watch tutorials out there, you see there's an asterisk universal selector, you see them calling padding 0, margin 0. This is just what they're trying to get rid of in the entire body of the application, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Good and fine. We can still keep it there and keep moving, right? All right, so we have successfully connected our external CSS, right? Okay, let's go. What we have to design today is a Facebook page. Let me try and open a Facebook page. What is this? Okay, let's see facebook.com. Okay, guys, this is what we're supposed to design today. All right. Yeah. Now, if you look at this guy, okay, this is nice. This is nice. So if you look at this guy now, there's a background color here. I need this color so that we'll try as much as possible to make our page exact as this, right? So on my browser, I have an extension called, where is the extension? Eyedropper. What I use this eyedropper to do is anytime I see nice color on the website, I like that color. I can easily use it. Once you see pick color from web page, I click on this guy, I select. Now this is the color I want to pick. I just have clicked on it. When I go back to it, now it has given me the color. This is the color. I'll copy this color. I can come back here now. I want to show you also something I didn't talk about in the last lesson. Have you guys seen something like this? Root. And then I could declare something like, okay, background color. Okay, let me show you something. Okay, let's go back to our page. We'll still come back to this Facebook guy. Currently, we have a color of white, right? Let's test this color I just picked. Okay, if I come here, let me pick body, for instance, and I see background color to be val background. Okay, sorry, val background. Did you notice the color change? You may not notice. Let me use an obvious color background. Can you see? This is what. Did you guys notice what just happened? Look at what I did. I don't want to start. You know, the color comes in a code. This is the color we have there. This is the color code for the background, right? I don't want to keep coming back to copy this thing, and I don't want to stress my life. I want to cram this color code F0, F2, F5. So what I did was I created this selector. It's a root selector. Now I gave it a variable name. This is what we call variables in CSS, a variable name, and I call this background color. You can always give this name, any name. But it must begin with these two hyphens, right? But for this name, it's a variable name. By variable, I mean it's just it's just giving birth to a child and giving the child the name you desire, right? So I just gave it this name, background color. And why I gave it this particular name, so that, oh, okay, anytime I want to make use of that particular color, I remember that, okay, that's my background color. I can easily call it and then it will come up, right? So this is how you can declare variables in CSS, variable colors in CSS, right? So I'm going to paste this guy here now. So I want to keep all the colors that I'll need inside these variables. This was just an illustration to show us what's happening, how to save. Okay, let's go back to that page and pick more colors. Okay, we have picked the background color. My eyedropper tool, pick color from web page. I want this color. Okay, I've clicked on it. Then it has saved it here for me. I'll come and copy it. Go back to my VS Code. That was a button, login button. So I can say hyphen. Okay, it was a login BTN, login button. I'll now save that color. Okay, let me go back. Which other color is there? Oh, this color. All right, my eyedropper tool, pick color from web. I'll now select here. Go back to eyedropper tool. Eyedropper tool has collected the color for me. I'll copy it, come back. And this is a create BTN, that's button, right? I'll save that guy there. So I've picked that color. Okay, I've picked virtually all colors on this page now. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Yeah, I've picked all the colors. Okay, let me scan this page to look at what's here. Oh, you discovered this thing is an image, not like it's a text that's here, right? See, can you see? This is an image. Okay, let's get that image as well. Let me right click on it. Oh, you can even see open image in a new tab, save image. Okay, let me open the image in a new tab. Okay, this is the image, right? Let me save it so that I'll also make sure of it. Save my image. It's an SVG document. Okay, let me go to my desktop, this folder here. Okay, let me call this image logo. Save it. Okay, what's here that I've not picked? Yeah, we have actually picked everything here we need. So basically, if you're working for a live project, definitely your client or your UI UX guy, or your team of developers, the team of developers where you still have the UI UX person will give you all this, the colors you need, the logos and all that, right? So for the sake of this project, we didn't have the logo, we didn't have the color. That's why we have to come here and pick the color. So we'll try as much as possible to make it look almost exact as this guy now, right? Okay, let's go back to our VS Code. So remember we saved that image in this folder. That's why I see the image here. Now, yeah, that's why we have the image here. But if you're working on a big project, it's also good. You could also structure out all these, create folders for all these items. Not like maybe a situation where you're working on a project that has about 10 images. You just dump plenty 10 images here, mix them to file. Right? You could have something like an asset folder, right? Maybe, yeah, I've clicked on this guy, something like an assets folder. Inside this asset, you can see I have different assets. You could have images, you could have your styles and all that, right? Let's say maybe inside this assets, I can see I have another folder inside where I can call it images, or IMG for images, right? Inside this place, I can still have a folder where I can call it CSS. That's where I'll store all my different CSS, right? Then, okay, for this image now, I'll copy. Now to move a file, I want to move this image inside this, this logo inside this image folder. I'll just click on it, click and hold, then you drag it to the IMG tag, then you leave it. You see this prompt, are you sure you want to move logo.svg to images? Yes, move it. So now it's here now. Okay, my CSS, if I want to also structure my work very well, okay, I can also click and hold, drag it to CSS folder, leave it there. Are you sure you want to move styles to CSS into CSS? Yes, I want to. So move it. So now you see my folder is well structured. I have my HTML, which is like the entry point of my application. Then here, inside here, I have my assets. Where I have CSS, my CSS with my CSS file, and then my IMG folder with my image file, right? Okay, let me close all these guys and open them properly again so we could see everything we have well structured. Now, see, we have finally structured we have arranged our folder properly, right? Good. All right, so let's begin. Now, remember, I tempered with this CSS. It's not going to pick now because this is no longer where it is. So to be sure, to arrange it properly, I can just come back, place a dot /. Now it's showing me there's a folder called asset. Yes, I've clicked. Inside asset, there's a folder called CSS. I click. Now inside asset, inside CSS folder, there's a file. I click. Now you see you have this is a relative path, right? You save. All right, then let's open our CSS. Okay, don't worry, we'll come to our CSS later on. So let's look at this page and work. Now, looking at this page, let me see if I can pick a pen and write on it. Good. Okay, looking at this page, we could have this guy, a parent that's covering everything here, right? Where all these contents are inside. Then we could have this parent can have two children. One child is here. Then there's another child here. Right? So now we have seen a picture. Let's try to draw this picture using our code now. Okay, let's go back to our VS Code and try to draw that picture. Okay, we are in the body, right? The body could have a div, right? And this div now, we can give it a class. This div is like our parent div, the one containing all other divs, right? Please,
yeah.
The person talking should kindly mute himself. Who is that? Chinonso.
Sir?
Please, could you kindly mute yourself? Thank you. All right, now back to inside our body, we are having a div, right? This div, we are giving it a class. Remember, we talked about attributes. We know what classes are, right? Okay, let's give it an ID. I want us to make use of all the selectors if possible. We'll give it an ID, and this ID we are calling it a container. Basically, it should contain all our files, right? We call it a parent div or something, right? This is just a conventional name, not like it's a default name that you must give it. Is just for at least once I see container, once any developer see container, it's literally when you call something a container, it means this is going to be holding items, right? It's going to be housing different items. So I'm calling this div a container means it's going to be housing other divs, right? So remember, we have two children. Now we'll still try another cool trick. Two divs, right? So I want to write two divs. Instead of writing div, this one div, I come outside and then I put another div, two divs. I really don't want to go that route. It's a waste of time. Remember, I told you guys I'm very lazy, right? I could easily do div, that's for div, asterisk, that's multiplied by 2. Then it has generated two divs for me. Okay, now I want to give this first div a class. Okay, let's say this first one is the one at the left-hand side, the other one is the one at the right-hand side. Or we'll say this one is the one with the banner, right? Or the one with the logo, right? But let's just call it left, right, so we won't miss out. The first one is the one at the left-hand side. The other div give you the class is the one at the right hand side. Yeah, if we check our code now, we're not going to see anything, but the divs are actually there. But we're not going to see anything because they have no content inside. But now, okay, if I write, let me write inside this one div 1. You now see div 1. Div 2, you now see div 2. You may also notice something. This one, div 2, is not sitting side by side with div 1 because these two guys are block elements. They are block element, block as in BLOCK, block elements. We have block element and we have inline elements. For example, let me show you another one. Let's say we have span. I don't want to go that route. Okay, let's say we have span, two span. Let me put it split. Okay, then let me write hello here. Let me write hello 2 here, save. You notice hello 2 sitting beside hello 1. This is not a block element. This one is a block element. By block, it is spanning from here to the other side. Let's say we give this left a class. Now let's remember to write our internal style, write styles. Then we have, let's call left. To call a class, we begin with the dot, left. Let's give it a border of 1 pixel solid red. Now you see that it's spanning to the end. Let's give this same style to right dot right. Remember this grouping, right? Now you see right also carries span to the end. But these guys, they are not block elements. So what we want to do now, we want to force these two guys. We want to force left and right to sit side by side. So that will now take us to what we refer to as flex, display of flex in. Okay, now we're going to use our external style sheet. Okay, let me split this guy. Sorry, there's something on my screen. I want it to disappear. Great. All right, let me split so that I can have my index here and my style sheet this way, right? Let me see if I can use this guy. Okay. So now we want to style container. Remember, container is their parent. So we want to style container. So, but container is an ID. So we're going to begin with hash container. Now we want to give container a display of flex. So immediately we give the parent a display of flex. The children are now sitting side by side, have been forced to sit side by side. And there are a whole lot of styling you can do on this flex. You can even make them sit on top of each other. If I say something like maybe flex direction, I want it to be column. You see now that's turned back to a block, sitting side on top of each other. But I don't want this. I want this. Or back to that guy. If I come here and it's okay, display of row, you see them on the row. Column now it becomes on top of each other as though it's a column, but by default it's a column, it's a row. So I don't need to start writing this guy, right? So now yes, we have succeeded in keeping these two guys left and right hand side, right? And the container, which is like the entire body, has a background color. Remember that color we copied, this color we copied, right? Okay, we want to give it the background color. So now come here, give it the background color. To make use of this color now, we'll begin with var. It's a variable var. Now it's okay. Take this now give it that name. Sorry, let me. Okay, yeah. Now if you notice, if you look here, the color has changed, right? Now, okay, if I want this thing to take my full, I want to give it a height of 100 view height. Now you notice it is spanning from top to bottom because I've given it the height of my viewport. That's the full height of my screen. Take the full viewport of my screen. So that's what this implies, right? Okay, then if you notice these guys, when we open this page, there's space on top here, there's space below, there's space sideways, right? We could give that a padding. So now I want to apply another property called padding. Let's say we'll give it to be 100 pixels, for instance. 100 pixels. Let's see what we have. Now you see there's a space here, there's a space here now. 100 seems to look small. 100 seems to look small. Okay, let's make it 150, right? And then we don't need that. We don't need the borders for this guy. I only wanted to show us those borders, right? So we could see them. So now these are the divs sitting side by side, right? Now this left side div, this is where we have the image, and then we have this text. We have this text. You have this text. Facebook helps you connect and share with the people in your life. I just copied that text. I don't want to start typing, right? So that it will save us time. And all that are inside this left div, right? So now we'll go into this left div. Remember, it's inside this left div that we have the image, right? And it's inside that same left div that we have that text. So to call an image, we use the img tag. And this is another self-closing tag. img is another self-closing tag, right? So here we could just do img, and then these are the attributes source and auth. Source means where is the, if you look at the image URL. The image URL, that's where the image is. Now to pick the image, you could just begin with // the image is inside asset. You see an img folder, this is the image. You save it. So this auth is like a description for screen readers. Some people that if you're building your site and you also want people that are blind to be able to know what they're feeling at that point in time, that's where this auth comes in, right? So we'll say, okay, this is a logo, right? So let's check what we have there. Okay, let's finish up. Sorry, let's go back. All right, so we have inserted an image. Then let's put a p tag and go paste all the content. The content is Facebook helps you to connect, and share blah 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 people in your life. All right, let's see how it's looking. Oh, this is it here now. Facebook helps you, and this is the guy. Then the second div is still at the other side. All right, let's go there and finish the second div. Okay, that's div 2. For now, let me close this so we'll have a wider view of my screen. Right, inside the second div, okay, let me put a comment here. This is left side div element containing the logo. So that's this div. The second div now, let me put the comment. This is the right side div containing the form. All right. So here now, this is where we have the form. This is what I mean by form. This is a form. This input tags and all that. There's a button here. This is what we refer to as the form, right? Okay. So here we can have a form element. We can actually not make use of this, but if you notice, this form element comes with an attribute called action, and you can see have another attribute called method on it, and this method could be a post or get. And basically, when you're working with data, your backend for languages like PHP, that's where you need this attribute, the action attribute, and then the method attribute. This action method is just specifying after collecting this form element, these fields, after you have imputed your email address and password, collect this data and send to this particular file to process it. So that file is usually being called in this action section, right? Then this method is only, okay, we have different kinds of method when we're looking at back, when you guys finally enroll and you're looking at backend, you discover we have the post, get methods and the likes, right? So here is only specifying what method, which is usually a post method, and by post, like a send method, send these details to that file, file that is specified in this action section, right? So send, post means send. You usually specify a post, which means send the email and password to this file so that this file will process it. But we don't need it here. So inside this form element, that's where, okay, we have email and password, right? Now if you notice something, if you're typing here, you notice that what I'm typing is just ... We are not actually seeing what I'm typing, right? Okay, so we could come here, we have an input. This is another self-closing tag. Okay, let me show us. Okay, now Paul, you mentioned something before we started the lesson properly. Now you see this input tag, there's no / here. I just fixed it. I just wrote this and there's no /. But let me save it, my code, see Ctrl+S. Now you see it has come up. It's been added. It's being added by my extensions. Just, oh, you said your file is a HTML5. Your document is a HTML5 document, so you should have a /. Yes, you wanted to say something? Go on.
Yeah, I say hope it won't break your code.
It's not going to,
because since it's having a default. Okay.
It's not breaking.
Because this is having a. Okay.
It's not going to break it. With or without this, remember, I think we have addressed this now. With or without this, it's still going to run. But remember, we are working with HTML5. So HTML5 says that we should have this, right?
Okay.
So at the top of my document, see doc type, right? Already I've told my prettier, my code formatter, right? My prettier already is being configured. Oh, I'm writing a HTML5 document. So just help me do some of those background fixes so that I won't be wasting my time writing them. So that's what Prettier is doing here. But if yours is not configured, you may likely not see this /. But that does not mean it's not going to work, because this is a self-closing tag. So, but it's recommended that you put this. It is recommended that you put this. It's recommended that you put this, right? So now we have input, and this is of type text, right? And then we're going to have another input type, another input tag. Is still by default, you notice that by default, this comes with type of text. But what we have here is type of, there are different input types, right? There are different input types, but what we want now is email. So we could change this type from text to email, right? Then this guy, now I'll leave it on type of text so that we'll see the outcome of it, and then we'll try to make some adjustment, right? Okay, so if I come back to what we have done so far, this is what we've done so far, just this guy, right? Now, see, if I type here, you can literally see what I'm typing. Remember, this section is meant for our password. You can literally see it, right? But okay, let's say if I go back and change this from type text to type password. Let's go back here now. If I type, you can't see it, you're seeing a dot. So that's the difference. I believe that makes sense, right? So because I specified it of type of password. Then another quick one we could look at is, remember there are labels here. Okay, there are actually no labels here, right? Okay, but let me just show something. Let me deviate a little just to show something, then we'll come back to our design. You can have something called a label. And this label for is actually, what are you labeling for? You can specify another attribute here, an ID. I'm labeling and give this ID email, right? So I'll say, okay, I'm labeling for email. Okay, let me not put it yet so that we'll see what's done, what the importance of it, the label, right? So okay, if I type email here, if I come back here, you see email, this email. But if I click on email now, nothing happens. But if I want to type email, it means I must come here before I can start typing, right? But now, if I click on email, there's no focus on this guy. So let me go back to that guy quickly. And what if I come to label for here and I put email? These two names must match: ID, email, label for email. These four must match your ID name, right? So if I come back here, if I click on email, did you notice that this input tag became focus so that I can type? See,
yes.
Now I'm currently on email. I click on email, then this took focus so that I can easily type. That's basically the use of labels in input tags, but we don't need it for our page, because if you notice, our page does not have it. Rather, you see there's email address and password. But once you click here, we can easily type. You see that goes away, right? Now, what's that behavior? Let's go back to our VS Code and see what that behavior is. Now, here, we don't need this guy for now, so let me just get rid of that. There's another attribute called placeholder. Placeholder, right? Remember, what you're seeing here, email address with phone number, is a placeholder. That's what once you start clicking, it goes off. Placeholder. So let me come back to our code and insert our placeholder. Okay, they said email address or phone number. I save it. Now I see it, email address or phone number. But once I click and I start typing, you see it's gone. If I erase it, it's back. I start typing, it's gone. That's what a placeholder does, right? Then the other one we have is password, right? So I'll go back to our code. So here it means we're going to put another placeholder, and we'll call this placeholder password. So now you see password here. Good. All right. Then we have a button here, login. A button login. So we can come back. We are done with these two guys. So inside the same form, okay, you can actually have an input tag with type of button. Sorry, with type of button, and I save it. Let's say we go back here. Okay, yeah. Because now to make the writing show, we can have something like value on it. We could call it login. Now you can see login. Or you can see have HTML5 provides us another method. You can actually have an element called button where it have login. This is the element. You see, they are almost looking the same, right? So this input tag, now here it's just specifying. We have seen different types. We have seen type of email. We have seen type of password. We have seen type of button. We have seen type of text. There's type of radio, and there are a whole lot of them out there. So which one should we keep? Let's just keep this element. Already we have seen input tags. So this is login. So what do we have? Login is here. Then now see, if I hover over this, you notice that this is a link. If you click on this thing, it will definitely fly you to another page. It will fly to a forgot password section, right? And if I hover over it, you see a line under it, right? Okay, so it means for you to be able to redirect somebody to another page or another website, you need an element, an anchor tag element. So like we can have a p tag here, right? We all know what a p tag is. It's just a paragraph tag. So inside this paragraph tag, we can have our anchor element. For now, let me just put a hash inside so that we're not redirecting anywhere. Let's say we are redirecting to name something like Facebook. Let me see, let's redirect www.google.com. So, but what we have, the text there is forgotten forgotten
Password.
password with a question mark. Save it. Let's go back and see what we have. Now this is it, right? So if I click on this guy, now you see it wanted to open this page for me, www.google.com. That's us trying to, but for now we are not flying to anywhere. We are not going anywhere, right? So let's just put a hash here because we're not going. So if I click, you see, you just notice, look at it just brought up this and then reloads the page. Because basically we are not going anywhere. That's just the essence of an anchor tag. Then we have a line here, or we have looked at this line. So that we could just basically, there are so many ways you can put this. You can even give this as a margin of P, right? But let's just go with the normal HR. We are conversant with HR. You see now, before I save, see what we have. I have HR without the forward slash. May I just save it? You see, it just appended the forward slash for me. Then if you go, okay, this is the line. Yeah, everything is looking messy. Don't worry, we'll handle it with our CSS. Okay, now we have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then we have another button here. Okay, which is create new account. Create new account. So still, that's after the HR, we could have another button element.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go on.
After that account link, that hash that you put there, what is this? What does it symbolize? Can't remember.
It's the hash. We are actually not going anywhere, right? So it's just like you are staying on the same page, right? But because it's an anchor tag, it will still display that behavior.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yes, I remember.
So ideally, what is supposed to be in that href is a link to wherever we want to go to, right? But we're not going anywhere.
Yes,
That's what just inserted the hash to stay back on that
all
page.
right, all right.
So after the HR, we'll have a p tag. Inside the p tag, we'll have a button, and the button we have create new account. Create new account. All right. Let's see what we have. Okay. So this is what we have for now. It's not looking fine. It's not looking beautiful. It's just the way it is. All right. So let's try and work on this guy. Now our CSS. Our CSS. Let's begin with the right guy. Okay. Our CSS. Sorry, there's something on my screen. I want to get rid of it. It's gone. All right. Here now. Okay, we want to style our form. That's the right. Yes, this is the right. Right. So we can come here and call, okay, dot right. And we can as well call dot left, comma. Why am I calling these two guys here? I want to give both of them a bit. And I want both of them to, let's say, carry the bit of 50%. 50%, that's like half. You take half, you take the other half. So by the time, it's like me trying to share this parent into half, right? Okay, then I could now still give them, yeah, okay, half, right? Then we have inside the right, there's a form. And if you check this page, the form has a background color of white, a white background color, right? So we could go and call. Now I want to use child selector method dot right. Right is a parent of a child called form. You guys remember this, right? It's a parent of child called form. Give this form a background color of, I can just type white, save it. Notice there's a white there, right? Now, or instead of just typing white, I could use the hexadecimal color code FF. It could be just 3 or 6. You see, I still have my white color, right? Okay, but these guys on this page here, you notice that, oh, this is spanning from beginning to the end, right? So I can come back. Okay, let me work on my div, my input tags. So we have 2 input tags. So once I call input, I expect all of them to just respond. Okay, so let's use internal CSS to do that one. Remember why I'm doing this, so that we'll be conversant with working with both internal and external. And also remember the caveat in working with those 3 guys. Remember that inline has a higher priority. So if I do that mistake of declaring a particular style on a particular, declaring a certain style on a particular element in my external and doing that mistake in my internal and also on an inline, remember the inline will override the other guys, right? So, but now let's just use this internal here for the input, right? So, sorry. So this we'll call input. Remember, this is element selector. We'll just call the element straight away, right? Now we can give it the width of 100%. 100%. Now you see it's spanning to the end. Right? Okay. And if you look at the original page, you notice that there's some sort of space padding, right? So, and if you look at this input tag, it's still, the box is quite large enough, right? So let's go and try to do that as well. So we'll give our box, we could give our box also a padding of, let's say, 10 pixels. Okay. Let's increase it a bit, 12 pixels. You see it's actually coming up, but it's pushing out of this box. So then I can come back to the form and say, okay, I want to give you a box sizing of border box. Okay, all right. So now we notice this guy is going almost out of the div. So let's go back to the div, because the div is a very flexible one, just taking 50%. Okay, we are in the input tag now. We'll now give it, don't worry, we'll continue. Let's give it a margin. And this margin, this margin has margin, you notice there's a margin top, there's a margin bottom, left, right. So, but a situation where you just write only margin without specifying if it is left, right, or top, it means you can specify those 4 arch values on the straight line here. Like maybe top, this for top, and then I say, okay, this is for left, this is for right, and maybe this is for bottom, right? Or I can just impute 2 values. The first value I could call, okay, 5 pixels. So once I give just one value, it means it's going to take, this 5 pixels is going to be for top, right, bottom, and left. But let's say I add in another one of, let's say, 10 pixels. This is going to be for top. The first one is serving for top and bottom. The next one is serving for left and right, right? But basically what I want to achieve is I want to have this space that is here. This space that is here, this spaces, right? So now I can give it just a margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixels. Margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixels. Or let's increase it a bit so it will come out very well. Let's say 15 pixels. Yeah, 15 pixels is okay, right? Then back to this guy. Form. Remember, form is the overall, the white background guy. I don't know, this one I'm going back and forth. Are we still following? Or should we just do everything on a single page? Hello guys, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Should we just do everything on a single page so I won't be going back and forth, and so it won't create any confusion?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
So let's remove this inline internal. So we'll do everything on a single page so we won't create any confusion, right? Okay, but we have a white background. Okay, let me remove this guy too. We have a white background. Okay, then we could see have, if I'm using child, I could do something like inside right, there's a child called form, and this child has another children, and he's calling the children input. This is like children selector. That's you narrowing down, right? So now I'm targeting all the input tags, right? Here now, give them a padding of, let's say, 15 pixels. Now, see that's taking 15 pixels, right? Then now I can give them two ways, a width, like we did the other time, of 100%, and then the span. Or if I don't want to do that, remember, the reason why both of them are sitting side by side is because they are inline elements. I can force them to become block elements by saying, okay, take a display of block. You now notice that both of them are taking a display of block, and now they are sitting on top of each other. Right? Okay. Then, okay, but you still notice that all the contents here are touching the wall. I don't want everything to be touching the wall, right? So that's where my padding now comes into play. My padding, I can give this guy padding of, let me try 50 pixels, it's not too much, 50 pixels. Oh, sorry. I think I gave the wrong place. Oh, this padding, I give the input padding instead of the parent. It's the parent that you're giving the padding, and the parent is the form element itself, padding of 50 pixels. You now see that nothing is touching the wall again. If you notice, oh, it's too much, you can go ahead and reduce this guy to, let's say, maybe 30 pixels. Now you say, okay, yeah, it's fine. Now there's spaces around. Then, but if you look at this particular one I'm trying to design, there's curved borders, right? So now I can, okay, go back to that guy, and then to curve my border, I can give it a border radius of, let's see, 12 pixels. 12 pixels. Now I see that my edges are also curved. You see these guys as those, like there's a shadow behind it. It's like those, there's a shadow, and ours is not looking like that, right? So let's try and make our own look like that too. So we have another property called box shadow. Box shadow. I can specify to be 0, 2 pixels, 5 pixels, and even give it a color of CC or something, right? Now I see. Can you see my shadow? Box shadow. There's a shadow. Then when we're going, you can take your time as well, do your own studies, try to practice out all these things you understand. Maybe for some of those properties that making use of that seems maybe strange, you could also remember we said internet is one of the tools you need as a web developer. You can also do your own research and try to understand how it's used, what are the parameters called and involved and all that, right? So now we are given a box shadow and we have this guy now, right? Okay, let's go back to him. Okay, so what again do we need? Oh, okay, yeah. And this guy is not going to the end. So let's see what we can do about him. So remember that's the input tag. We can give it a width of let's say 100%, 100% or 100% too far, right? So let me say, let me drop it at 90. 90 is fair. 90 is fair. Okay. Yeah, 90 is fair. Okay, so now already I've succeeded in pushing this thing, right? Okay, then next, see these two boxes that are stacked on each other. So we want to give a space. See this login button is still touching this guy. So we want to give them a margin at the bottom. So we'll give this guy margin bottom of, let's say, maybe I can give this guy 15 pixels. Let me say it's going to look like, yeah, this is it. 15 pixels. So check, see, okay. Then you also notice that this one's border has some, it's not as dark. And then you also notice that the input feed is a bit curved, right? And ours is, the color is also bold and the edges are not even curved. So let's go and see what we can do about that guy. Remember, it's our input tag. So our input tag, remember we'll give it a border of 1 pixel. Let's try solid and let's give it a light color. Now you see the color is now light. Our border, we need to also curve it. Well, that's what we call border reduce, and let's just give it 4 pixels and see, oh, we see our borders are a bit curved as well. Now if you go here, you see, oh, their text is looking quite big. The text is looking quite big. Okay, let's also increase our own font size, right? So we can come here and increase our font size. So let's try 18 pixels and see how it's going to look like 18 pixels. Yeah, it's okay. Not too big though, but it's just okay, right? Okay, so this is it. Okay, now, oh, if I focus on it, you see I have a dark color. Let me see what they have. If we focus on it, you see the color they have the color of this button. So okay, let's go and work on ours too. Okay, now I'll copy this guy, I'll paste it. So now there's another kind of selector, right? This is another way of it's like how am I going to put it? Like you're trying to target a particular activity. Remember, this thing is happening when you focus on this input, right? When you focus on this input, remember, it's only by default. If I click out, you're not seeing this this box take that color until when you focus on it, right? So now, if I want, I can also target that that attribute or that action. Sorry. Okay, I can say okay, focus. So when you focus on it, I want you to see maintain the border to be 1 pixels, right? I want you to see be solid. But this time around, I want the color of, remember this color, login button. Take the color of my login button. So I click. Okay. Did I save? Let me check my work. Okay, it's quite big. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, let's try something on. Let's do focus. Sorry, outline. It's showing an outline to be none. Let's set our outline to be none. Let's go back there. You see, now the outline is gone. That thick line that was showing, it's called an outline, is gone now. So now on focus, remove that outline and then set my border to take this color. That's how we managed to get this guy now. All right. So now let's go back. We have this button. Okay, this is our button, login button, right? Login button. Then we're still going to arrange it properly. Login button. So these are login button. There's a login button. Okay, remember we have 2 login buttons here. So if I do the mistake of just calling button, all of them will come up, and you discover this one has a long width compared to this guy. So if I call button and let's say I give this guy to 90%, you see, to just take all this one to now be looking as long as this. But if you look at these 2 buttons, they don't have the same length, right? So let's go back there and give that other guy an ID so that we can easily target it. This guy, or a class rather. So give this one class of login BTN, and then we'll give this other one, sorry, this other one a class of create BTN for button, right? Login BTN. So now this is what we want to start, right? So we'll just easily come here. If we don't want to use this method of child select, we could easily come straight and call that class. I want to give it a longer width, right? That width, we'll still work on it before we wrap up for today. Okay, I want to give this guy a width of also 90% like the other guys. Okay, let me make this guy 100 and see what's happening. Okay, I see what's happening. Okay, don't worry, we'll still work on these guys. Okay, anyway, let's just fix it now before we proceed For proceed input, let's say we give this guy 100. It's going out. It's fine. Give this guy a box sizing of border box. Now you see everything is fine now, right? Everything is okay. So basically, it was just this border box. You may also want to do your research. What does border box do and all that, right? So with this border box, if I comment it out, you see, let me see if you see it spanning out of the box. It's all right, but border box. Then see everything's well aligned. The buttons and the input tags having the same length, right? Okay, but it's our button is looking too small, so we can also give it a padding. Sorry, a padding of 10 pixels. Let's see how it's going to look like. 10 pixels. Is that too small? Let's make it 12. 12 pixels. And then we'll give it the color. The color was, that's background. We're giving it the background color. Val. Now I don't have to go and start looking for that color. Once I see val, this is a login button. Login button. I save it. See the color has come. You see it having some strange border. I don't need that border. Right? I could easily remove the border by setting the border to none. You see the border is gone. See the border is gone. Let's check their own. Okay, yeah, their own is not having border. Okay, so let's go back to what we have. Let's go back. We could as well increase this padding. So then the color of the text is white. So we'll do color CFFF. Now color is white. We can as well increase our font size of this button to let's say 15 pixels. Yes, sorry, that was too small. So let's say 20 pixels. Better. We could even make it bold with our font weight 600, or we could just write font weight bold. Yeah, nice. It's bold. The button, the edges are as well curved, right? The same. Yeah, the curve is almost similar to the input tags, right? So let's go back there. Go back there. We can also apply border radius of 4 pixels. 4 pixels here. Good. So we have this guy. If that's looking too small, let's increase it all to. Let's increase this to 5 pixels, and this guy also to 5 pixels. Okay. All right. Hello, guys. I want to be sure I'm not on this call alone. Please, can you drop a message?
Yeah.
You can drop a message in the chat section, please, if you're actually following, right? So I'll know that we're on the same page and I'm not just running alone. All right.
All right, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. And if you're enjoying the class, also do well to drop a message in the chat section so I'll know that I'm not deceiving myself. Right? Thank you. Sir. Thank you very much. It's just a check to be sure that we're together. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. RF, I've seen your message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm enjoying the ride. Great. All right. Let's ride on, Stella. All right. Okay. Then there's forgotten password here. All right. Let's go and deal with that guy too. And look, it's centered. It's positioned in the center. All right. Let's go back to where we have forgotten password. Good. Forgotten password is set a p tag. Let me just make use of an inline CSS here so that we'll still remember that one. Remember, you just put in a style attribute and then you can easily see text align center. That is to align this anchor tag center. Let me go and see what I have. Oh, you see this guy is now in the center. It's in the center. See, this guy is now in the center, right? Okay, but you still notice that, okay, there's no much space here. So let me go and give that p tag. Let's continue with the p tag. Where's the p tag? Yeah, this is the p tag with the inline. So let's give it a margin. Semicolon, that's end of that command. So I'm specifying margin. Remember this margin, if you just write margin, You're referring to margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right. If you specify two values, like let's say I say 5 pixels here. Now, well, let me make it very obvious. Let's say I say 40 pixels here. Now, is this like for top, bottom, and left, right? This is for top, bottom, left, right. So if I now specify another value, 0 pixels, this second value is for left and right. Okay, we may not really see the effects here, right? Okay, let me do that on this. Okay. I know why it's okay. Let me make us see that effect by removing this text align. I'm going to bring this back. I just want us to understand something. Okay, now look at this text. It's positioned at the left hand side. Okay, let me remove this 0 as well. Margin 40 pixels. Look at what this text is no longer at this edge. It has given a space here of 40 pixels on top and 40 pixels on the bottom, right? Now, let me go back to that guy and I'll give it 0 pixels here. This second value is going to be for left and right. Now, if you look at this text, this is shorthand property set value for the thickness of the margin area, right? So now let's go back and see. Now you see the margin at the left has disappeared because I now specified it to be equal to 0. I hope that makes sense, right? All right. So, but okay, that's why we are putting in this guy. But we need our text align center so that it can actually position our text in the center here, right? Okay. What color did they use? Let me see what color they use. What color did they use? There's something else. This is going. Sorry. Okay, yeah, this is the color they use. This color is similar to this button background color, right? So, but if you hover over it here, you see this underline effect. If you do not hover, there's no underline, right? Let me own what's happening on our own. Let me see what's happening. Okay, Adele B, you're doing great. Thank you. I'm following. Thank you, Chino. So, all right, let's go on. On our own now. That anchor tag usually come with a default style. That's why I see it by default. We didn't put any underline anywhere. We didn't. But now you see the anchor tag just come with this particular default color, default styling. But we didn't do all of this. We didn't, right? So we can go and remove all that. Let me use external now. Now, okay, once I say anchor, that's the only anchor tag on my page, right? So that's why I'm using the element selector, right? Or I could even target it by going into by saying, okay, look for P tag that has a child of anchor, right? And then I could say something like text decoration. Text decoration. Do not decorate my text for me. Leave it for me. You see the color has gone and the line has gone with just text decoration. It was decorating it by default, right? But I'm saying now when I comment, this is the decoration. I don't want this decoration. Don't help me. Thank you. Now see the decoration has gone, right? But I need you to take the color that is similar to this button. I can now give my anchor tag a color of val. I think this was the color. Yes. Was that the color? I don't think so. Let's check. Yeah, okay, it was. Oh, sorry. Yeah, where's our okay, yeah, it was the color. So let's go nice. Now, but if you hover over this thing, guy, there is no underline. So that's why I can come back here and target it again. Target that particular activity, and that activity is called a hover. So when you hover over this guy, you can do anything. When you hover over this guy, you can even change the color. When you hover over it, change it to color red. See if I hover over it, see it has changed it to color of red. But now this is not what we want to achieve, right? When you hover over it, we want you to underline it, right? Text decoration is underlined. Let's see. I hover over it now. You see the underline is coming. And I think that's the effect they also have, right? When you over it, you have the underline, over it, there's underline. I think we are done with this guy. Let's go back. Oh, our space is much compared to what they have. So let's go. And reduce this margin to, let's say, 30. 30, let me see. 30 is too much. Let me change it to 20. Yeah, 20 is fair enough. All right. So after that guy, what we have next is this line here, right? The line, yeah, the line is there. Okay, then we have this button. Create new account. Okay, let's go and work on the button. Button. What's our time? Okay. Okay, create new button. This is create new button. So now call the button. We'll just simply say dot create new button, style it. Want to give that button a padding of, let's say, 15 pixels. Now the button is looking big. Now we want that button to take a background color of val create. Okay, that's, let me shrink this guy. It has an annoying border, which we don't need. Border was now set to none. We don't need that border, thank you. Then the edges, let's cover it with border radius of 5 pixels. Now it's curved. The color is color, that's the color of the text is color white. So we have a white color. It's not looking bold enough. We could do increase the font weight to bold. Now it's bold. We can as well increase the font size if you so wish to, let's say, 80 pixels. Yeah, but it's not in the center. It is not in the center. Please can, okay, I have a question from RF. Please, can't the hovering be done at the same time as at when you did the text decoration? Must it be targeted differently? Yes, because we want that thing to happen only when you hover, right? Now, it's until you hover over this guy that you see that on the line. That's why we are styling it only when you hover over it, right? Okay, that's why we are targeting it only when we hover over this guy. Okay, and then that's why it's so, okay, this button now is not supposed to be in the center, right? Ours is not in the center yet. Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go back. Let me reduce this guy to 17. It's quite big. Okay, let me go back to where I have that create button. Okay, this is the P tag now, right? I can as well do an inline style for this guy. Style, I want you to text align for me. Oh, sorry. Oops. Text align, put it in the center. Oh, center now. Center, there you go. All right. So give us some padding, sorry, some margin on the top and the bottom. So margin. Remember the first values for top and bottom, right? So we say top and bottom, 20 pixels, left and right. I don't need you to give me left and right, 0 pixels. So we have this guy, right? Yeah, ours is quite bigger than this box here. Because we didn't give this right any default height, we just give it, just take half of the screen. But we don't want you to take half of the screen. Let's work on it a bit too, right? Let's make it, we can make it smaller. It's easy, right? We can just go back. This was where we made the right and left all 50 pixels, right? We could now say that, okay, yes, the right take this, but now the form itself, remember, is this form that we colored and is this form that will be styled? We could now say, okay, let the form have a height of, let me try 300 pixels and see how it's going to look like. 300 pixels, that was fair enough. And then the width of, let's see, let's give the width of let's 250 pixels. Oh, that was, oh, I wrote 25. 250 pixels. Yeah, this is 250 pixels. Quite small, right? Yeah, quite small. Let's increase it a bit. We can make that guy to be 300. Not so bad. But still smaller than theirs. So we could make this to be 350. But a situation where you're designing, maybe you're working on a live project, you won't be going through the stress of trying to assume figures of the height and width, because the UX guy will already give you the, oh, while designing these things, this particular box is supposed to be of height, this and supposed to be of width, this, right? So you won't go through the stress of where we are trying to assume, oh, should this thing be 30, 300 or 350 pixels, right? So definitely the UI UX guys too, as well, must have given them all those figures to work with, right? So in our case, we're just trying to create some random figures, and I don't want us to go and start scanning through this page and removing their values. I want us to just work on this thing so we understand the process of building a project like this, right? Yeah, so this is what we have for now. So now let's work on this image, this logo. Theirs is quite small, ours is very big. Their text again is large, ours is small. That's quite, it's very simple, right? We could easily go to, remember, all we have done is we have only worked on right. We have not touched left. So let's go and check left, right, left. So inside left, there's an image and there's a P tag, left. So I can come here, right? Or we could even, let me demarcate this guy. Okay, this tie is for the right div. Yeah, I'm fond of doing these things, right? So that if I come back to it, I'll not be looking for where I started left and where I ended left. This guy, okay. Then at the end of this guy here, I still can do something like end of left. So now if I come back to this guy, I know where these ones are just the containers and all that, right? So I can come here. Let me just copy this guy, paste this guy here, and change this from right to left. To left div, and then I can come here and then say end of left div. Yeah, it's fine. Let it be there. So it's here now. Save this guy. I can remember, you can easily split your screen and open this guy up. So there's a left. Let me open this guy. So this is, there's a left div here. Left. So I can come here, dot left. Inside left, you're going to see, now let's use descendant. For descendant, you don't have to put the greater than sign, right? So you can easily see inside left, there's an image, there's an IMG. This is an element now, element selector. So what I want you to do is, I wanted us to be seeing our output. Yeah, I believe you can see this guy, right? So there's an image tag here. So inside there's a left, inside left, just check all the children, all the descendant of left. Anyway, even if it's a grandchild, as long as it's a descendant of left, and you can find this IMG tag, I want you to give it a width of, let's see, maybe 75 pixels. Now you see how small that thing has gone. Oh, that's too small, right? We could make it 100 and see. Let's make it 150. Remember, your US guy must have given you all these figures. We won't be doing this back and forth figure. I'm doing here, right? Okay, this is, let me see what they have. Oh, still small compared to what they have. So let's make it 250 and see 250 pixels. Okay, quite small still. 270. Okay, that's okay. At least let me increase it a bit. 80. So now about our text, check inside left again. Anywhere you see P inside left, why we're doing this is because there are just two of them here. P image and then there's P. You can as well increase the font size of that guy to let's say 25 pixels. 25 pixels, quite small, right? 35 pixels is okay. Yeah, 35 pixels is cool. And then you can also increase the font width. You can make it bold. Bold. Yeah. Oh, it's not bold. That is not bold, right? So let's remove the bold. We don't need this guy. We don't need you. Right. Now, if you won't look at this properly, okay, I think there's some sort of, okay, it's still black, some sort of light color there about. All right. And then this piece, let's try and have this piece as well. Because look, if you look, we are not having this piece here. We are not having this piece here. So we could go to our, we can as well go just call left and ask left to give dot. We could call left and ask left to give a margin at the right hand side. Margin, two ways of doing this, right? Let me try the first way. So look at it. Imagine right at the right hand side of, let's say 30 pixels. Now you see there's space. Or we could just call this guy. Instead of saying margin, don't give us any margin, give us a padding at the right hand side of, let's say, 30 pixels. So we can see how the space, we could increase these values, right? 40 and all that, right? I think it's quite better now. And I think our text size is a bit larger than that. So we can reduce it here. 30. Yeah, this is cool. So this is it. This is what we have done. This is what they have. What they have, what we've done. What they have, what we have done. What they have. We just didn't put, this is just a P tag at the end of the, okay, let's just go and fix that too. So what we have, what they have done, right? Okay, so I can still try to push. Okay, for lack of time, we could maybe while you're working your project, kindly include this guy, right? So that we can proceed to the next part of our lesson, which is creating the repo and pushing our codes there, right? Hope we are good so far. Can we proceed to the repo? Let's create a repo on GitHub and push our code there. Are we together? Can we proceed? Hello, guys. Are you still with me? Or any questions so far?
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
Okay. The question is this Facebook and the logo. Is it a logo or is it a logo or is it text that you work on?
Yeah, when we remember when we scan that page, we discover that thing is a logo. It's an image. In fact, if you go there now, look at this thing. If I try to click on, did you see anything like download here as an image? That's I'm on this text. I right click. You not see anything like image, right? But let me go on this one and see. Can you see open image? Save image to tell that this thing is an image, right? Another way, if we try to inspect, then let me select that particular section. Yeah, this section now. Look at it here. Can you see that it's an image? You see, right? This is the size of the image and everything about the image.
Yes.
So it's actually an image, not even write-up. But you, as well, you can style your own write-up to look just like this or even better than this.
Yeah, that means we can still achieve it without using the logo itself.
Yes. We
Okay,
can.
all right.
It's just to give it font size and color. That's all.
Yeah, yes. All right, sir.
Okay, so we can proceed, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so all right, now let's head to GitHub. So you type github.com, hit enter. Then for those of us that don't have an account, please you can check GitHub and then try to create an account as well. You can, if you get stuck at some point, remember you can always message the group and you get the assistance you need. And you can as well check maybe a short YouTube video to guide you. But if you feel watching videos, you prefer interacting with somebody, you can always drop a message. Somebody will be there to interact with you. If it means jumping on a video call to assist you, someone will always be there, right? So this is my own GitHub account, right? So once you create, now you can see top repositories. You can see there's new here. You can click new to go straight and start creating a repo. Or you can come here where your image is. You can see your repositories. You click on repository. Remember, I've explained repositories. It's more or less like a folder, right? Now, if you open my own, this is my repo. This is a folder. This is like a folder. This is a repo. It's like a folder. This folder contains different projects. It contains a particular project. Code here, this is a code to a particular project, right? So this is more or less like a folder, right? That's just the easiest way we could grasp it. It's more or less like a folder. So now to create your own repo, when you come to repositories here, you now see new here. Click on new. So when you click on new, it's asking you repository name. You input the name of the repository, and that was Facebook login. Let's see, that was IT skills center -Facebook, right? So now this place where you have description is like you just trying to give a short description of what this folder or what this repository contains, right? Then you can check, leave it on public. When you leave it on public, anybody that visits your repository will be able to see the code, right? Like maybe a situation where you send your GitHub username or your GitHub link to an employer, he'll be able to visit and see, okay, the works you have done. But you can as well protect your branch so that nobody will be able to push some useless files on it, right? Then there's an add a new readme file. This place is where it's just like a documentation. This file, readme, is only describing what, maybe if it's a project that requires that whoever clone, that's whoever copies the project, needs to do some things before he can see the outcome. You can say, okay, when you clone this project, you have to do this, you have to do that before you do this, or this work contains this and this and this, and it's more or less like a detailed description, a detailed documentation of the project, right? Then you have a git ignore file, so you can even ignore all this one for the start, right? Well, you can ignore all this one from the start. So basically, what you need to do is once you write your repository name, if you want, you can write a description. Look here, it's even optional. Can leave it on public for the now. Then you just scroll down to where you have create repositories and click on this guy. So now the repo has been created. You can see IT Skills Center Facebook. All right, now you have this guy here, this link. Now, if you can follow these commands that are here, git init, git add, readme, git commit first, and all that, you'll still be able to push your code, right? But don't worry, I'll walk us through that entire process, right? Okay, let's go back to our code. So let's say now we are done building our Facebook page, for instance. Now I want to push our code. I can as well open my terminal here. Terminal, remember terminal is more like that environment where we root our code, like git bash, right? So, and here now, if I click on this plus button, okay, sorry, not this. If I click on this drop down arrow, I'll be able to select the type of terminal I want to use. Is it command prompt I want or git bash? Okay, if I select git bash, let's see how it's going to look. Look, it's still giving me that same interface of git bash, right? You can type your WPD the PWD situation, this is where you are. So now for you to begin, you have to create and you have to initialize Git. By initialization, it's like you bring in a security man that, okay, I noticed that some bad boys have been walking around here, so come and stay here and help me watch out. So that initialization is like you telling Git that, okay, you see this work I'm working on, I don't want to lose it, or I want to send it up to the cloud. So come and stay here and help me watch out what is happening inside this folder. So you begin by typing git init, git init. So if you go back to that, okay, look at, you see the first thing here, you see, right? Git init, right? Okay, so let's go back, git init, then we hit enter, right? So you see initialize empty git repository. Now, it's like a security guy has landed in my house. Now you see there's a master, this is a branch name, and the name of this security guy is master. So this guy is now watching over my files. Now, the same way you can come and ask the security man, did anybody pass here? You can come and still ask your Git that, Git, what is the status of my house? Now, Git is telling me that I worked on assets. I added a folder called assets. I added a file called, I worked on a file called index. But these files, nothing, but these files are untracked. That's, these files, you did not save them. You just worked on them and you left them there. You did not add them anywhere. You did not save them so that I can help you take care of them, right? So now to save them so that you can help me take care, we'll do git add. Then I'm putting a dot. Dot here simplifies, add everything. That's like I'm telling the security guy, take care of the entire house, right? But a situation where I want, okay, I want you to just take care of the store only, watch over the store only. What is happening in my main building, just leave it. You can specify, okay, git add, you now, okay, say asset, for instance, assets for assets, right? Okay. Now let me ask the guy again, git, what's the status? Okay. Now look at what happened, right? Initially it was telling me that, okay, this is your house. I'm not watching over it. I now came here and I was like, okay, Git, watch over only my store asset, right? You now say, okay, I watch over assets. I came back later and I asked, okay, what is the status? What's happening? It's now saying, okay, I'm watching over assets, and inside assets, there's a CSS, there's an IMG. This is the only thing that I'm watching over. But remember your main building, I am not watching over it. That's why you see this one is red, right? But if you do git add and put a dot, hit enter, it's as good as you telling Git to watch over everything, right? So let me clear the screen now and ask Git what's happening. Git, what's the status? What's the status of things? Now it's telling me that, okay, changes, I'm looking at everything that's happening in your house, and I noticed that everything is actually going well, but the store, there's no padlock, the main door, there's no padlock. So this is like trying to save. So can we get a padlock and save this building? That's where you now do commit. Now if you go to that, you now see something like git commit. Remember we've talked about this add readme. This readme is just to add a documentation, right? So this is where you now go to commit. Commit now is like us going to buy padlocks and come out to lock everywhere, right? So now it's okay, git commit. Now you put an M flag. This M flag is just to track your versions, right? Maybe it's just like when you come back, okay, it's like how am I going to put this? Yeah, it's just like to track the last thing you did. So maybe if there was maybe someone broke one of the padlock, I can come back, okay, the last time I checked, there was a padlock on this door. So it's like, okay, we now say git commit, we'll now put a message like, okay, this is my first commit. So, okay, I've logged the padlock and I've dropped a message that, okay, this is the first time I'm logging, right? So let's clear the screen. Claire is working here, right? Then let's check Git status. Git, what's the status of my house now? Git is telling me that everything is working fine. That's why I see nothing to commit, working tree clean. Okay, let me show you something. Let's say I come to my files now. I just want to make a change somewhere. Where can I change something? Let me just put another dot here and save this file. Remember, I just added the change here. Let me go back and ask my security guy, what's the status of my house? What's the status of my house? He's now telling me that, I think you touched index.html. Yeah, and it's true, I actually touched it. So because you touched it, we have to go and secure it. So to secure, Git will now add it. Git add the changes that I made, commit them. You now commit mflag. Okay, I can say, okay, this is the second time I'm making changes. Second commit. Okay, let's clear. Let's ask the Git man, what's the status of the house? Everything is clean and fine. But at this stage now, this code have not gone online yet, right? They are still local on my system. So, okay, I want to push it to GitHub. Now there's Git and there's GitHub. Git is this guy, this security guy that's watching, keeping track of all my changes. GitHub is like the warehouse, or it's like the place where I'm going to push the code to. Is the cloud server, right? Where I'm pushing the code to. While Git is watching it on my system, I can send it to GitHub, which is an online store. So now to send it there, that's where we need this URL. This URL that's here, this URL. We can easily click on this copy here to copy it, right? So now, okay, Git is watching this code locally on my machine, right? So now I want to send it to the cloud. So I have to add, okay, I want to bring import. Okay, it's as good as saying, okay, now I have a security guy watching my house, but I want to install a CCTV camera that can also be watching this house anywhere I am. So now, okay, I can say, okay, Git add remote origin. That's, I'll now paste this URL. I hit enter. Oh, I think I did an error there. Let's see what's wrong. Okay, it's Git remote add. Sorry for the mix up. Git. So, okay, I'm saying Git remote add origin, add to the origin, this guy. I hit enter. Now, yes, it's added. Okay, the next thing is, let's see what we have next. Okay, the next thing is to push. All right, but don't worry, before we go to that, let me quickly explain something else. Okay, now how am I sure that these CCTV cameras are working? To check, I can say, okay, Git remote. Oh, now it's telling me that yes, there's a CCTV camera called origin that's working in my house, right? So I can clear. Okay, but now if I check my Git log, let me see Git log. Okay, this is head and this is master, right? This is the changes I made. Look at this, was the first time I did the commit. This is the second commit I did, right? Let's say I have a problem here. I don't want to stay on this state. I want to come back, and you can easily revert back to this stage, right? But now if you look at this guy, it shows us that, okay, at this stage, we are, okay, it's currently showing us where we are, right? Okay, sorry, let me do another command to show us some other information. Git log all. Okay, yeah. So it's currently showing us that, yes, we have made 2 commits, and this is where we are at the moment. That's why you see this head and master showing on this particular commit. We can as well switch from this stage and come back to this stage, but don't worry, don't want to go too deep, too complex on this guy, right? So, but at least we understand how to add the guy and how to check if there's a CCTV camera. That's if we have successfully added using Git remote, right? So now it has shown us that, okay, yes, we have actually added a remote server. But these codes are still residing on our machine. We have not pushed them yet. They are still on my system, right? So to push them to the GitHub, which is the server, we now do git push origin, push to the origin. And the name of this security guy that's helping me make this push is master. Git push origin master. We hit enter. Okay, I got this error because the spelling of my origin here is wrong. Okay, let's try the git push origin master. Good. Now, yes, we have successfully pushed our codes to GitHub. Now, let me go and refresh this, please. Now, look at our codes are available online. All right. So let's say I come back. Let me come back here. Repositories. Look at IT Skills Center, Facebook. I open it now. You can see the asset folder, the images and all that. Everything is now here. So let's say I mistakenly or something happened to my system, and then I lost all the files, everything. I lost this code on my system. I can always pull them from GitHub, right? And then continue from where I stopped. So basically, and then if I now for you to access this code, you can as well. What I need to do is just share this link with you, and then you'll be able to clone these codes, open them, look at them, read, and then if I give you the privileges to push, you can as well push to the repo, and then we can work together from anywhere, right? I can make changes and I push there. You see that, oh, these are the changes I have made. You can as well make your own changes and push back, right? Now, if you look at GitHub, it's showing that first commit. This was the I made a certain commit the first time, and then I did another commit, right? So on here, these messages, you could structure them so that, okay, maybe you work on a particular feature. Let's say, okay, I just finished designing the heading of my website. You could now, when you push, okay, you could structure a message to relate to what you just finished, right? So that this message will guide you. Okay, now when you, on this particular commit, you know that at this stage, you completed this particular functionality or this particular segment and you pushed, and then the commit message will guide you. Okay, on this second stage, this is what I did, and then I pushed, right? I hope that makes sense. Any question before I give us our assignment and then try and wrap up for today? I think we have spent so much time. Hello guys, are you still with me? Okay, so for assignment, you kindly try to design your Facebook page and then push to GitHub and share this link form. We'll send you a Google form to submit your assignment. Thank you very much, and do have a wonderful evening. If you have any question, kindly unmute and ask before we drop the call. Hello, Padri. Hello, Innocent. Hello, RF. Do you have any questions? Chinonso. Hello, guys. Am I talking to myself? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sam. Thank you, RF. I've seen your message. Thank you very much. I hope you're able to learn something today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can we have the recordings? Yeah, sure. The recordings will be made available. Okay, thank you very much, RF. Okay. If there are no questions, then the coordinator will just drop the closing remark and then we'll hang up the call for today. Thank you very much, guys. Do have a wonderful night rest. And please stay on until the coordinator asks us to leave. Thank you.
Yeah, hello guys.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
So I noticed that when we first started, about 16 people joined us, right? And then we are down to 7. Anyway, it's understandable. Some are retired, some are, right? But we don't get tired. On this journey to become a software developer, you don't get tired at all, right? So we keep doing it. Right? So yeah, for the 7 people remaining here, I appreciate your patience and your doggedness. All right, so like Samuel have said, there is going to be an assignment that every one of you will push your work to GitHub, right? To the repository that has been created, the IT Skills Facebook, right? So you're going to push your work. So you are going to, he said you should design Facebook. No, I don't want Facebook. You can lay your hands on Facebook, show us next class. But now I want you to challenge yourself, open Google's login page, design Google login page. That is the assignment. And that is what we will review in our next class, right? Design it, push to GitHub, by the special grace of God, or by the special grace of whatever you believe in, right? We will review the assignments in our next class. So from here, it is thank you guys for staying with us, and then good night, right? Good night.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night to everyone.
Bless you, Baba.